And Johnson, I think, is a really fascinating and sort of unexpected figure in all of this. That when he came into the White House after the assassination, civil rights leaders were horrified. They said, you know, here we're exchanging this liberal Northerner for this, you know, white Texan who he was credited actually with helping to pass a very mild civil rights bill in the late 1950s, but part of that was, the question was whether it had passed only because it was just sort of watered down so much that it didn't have any effect. Roy Wilkins, the head of the NAACP, said, the civil rights, our progress on this bill is dead. It's over, and you know, we're never going to get anywhere. And he was, I think, one thing that they didn't anticipate, I think, was actually the way in which the economic aspects of the March on Washington's agenda, and the argument, I think, specifically that civil rights and economic justice went hand in hand, resonated with Johnson's experience, his background, with his own politics. And I think in some ways that was why he actually ended up championing the economic aspects of the March on Washington much more than Kennedy, because he came from not a poor family, but he had experienced economic deprivation in which, in a sense that Kennedy had no personal experience with. He had been a school teacher in rural Texas with a predominantly Mexican-American student body. He understood the connections between segregation and poverty and the effects of poverty. And I think that made him much more sympathetic to this agenda. And a really fascinating, I think, set of occurrences are the meetings that he held with civil rights leaders in the White House, in which he asked them about what do they want. And half of the meeting was them talking to him largely about economic justice and about the need for jobs. And then the last half of the meeting would always be him lecturing them on how they were going to get the bill through Congress and schooling them in politics. And I think it was in many ways an unpredictable but a very important relationship.